Okay, we have a rather interesting new series and it starts now. We're going to be teaming up with Embryo to give you guys an insight into exactly what it takes to not only stock but fully develop a fishery. Now, many of you will turn up at a fishing lake, it's already in place, all the carp are already in there, the swims are already made, everything's laid out for you, and all you have to do is enjoy the pleasure of catching the carp. Well, it is not always that simple, and the guys at Embryo know all too well what goes into this process, and there is a lot involved, trust me. So we are at the very start of this process now. We've got a stock pond over to my right, we've got lakes in Peterborough which you're going to travel to today, but before any of that can happen, you have to get the fish from the stock pond into the nets, into the holding tank, and that is exactly the process the boys were faced with yesterday.
Yeah, so this site, we work with gravel companies a lot. Brett are the gravel company that own this one. We've run a lot of other fisheries through those guys, and this was something that they gave us as in their portfolio, something they weren't doing a lot with. So that's basically how we got it. They sort of said to us, do you want this? It doesn't really fit as a fishery, but we did think it, you know, we could grow some fish on, make it a nice little place just to do a few sort of hand-picked ones for the future, really. We put a few in with the idea of essentially growing them on over a number of years and rod and lining them really, you know, getting them to £20 plus. If we had a venue where we needed 10, 15 sort of hand-picked 20s or whatever, we'd come down here, fish them out in November time, move them to the lake where we'd put a lot of commercial fish in as such, and then have them as a nice little sort of icing on the cake really. So that was the original plan with it, but clearly today we're having to do something a bit different. The guys we've got in to do this job, it's like Andrew Ellis and his guys, Ben and Dave. They're really good with a net, you know, they get the job done. We've used them before. I think when you're doing this kind of thing, you know, the people we've used in the past and these guys as well, they know what they're doing and you need that sort of professional touch. Otherwise you're here mucking about and you don't get what you get, you know. At least when you get the professionals in, you get a good chunk of them if it's possible to get them basically.
I'm Andrew Ellis, a fisheries a little company. We do basically anything fishery management related, a lot of survey work, this sort of stuff really. It's sort of what we've done. I've been doing it for 25 years now and we just work everywhere, all over the country, sort of trying to help people develop and manage fisheries really.
With this job here, this is not sort of a standard netting as such. This would, personally, when I got Andrew in, I thought this one was well sketchy. You know, you only need to look at the terrain, look around us here, you know, it's a steep gradient. Just getting in through that field's a nightmare. We had to have tractors on standby, everything like that. We've got the boys in with all the kit, get it down on the bank. We've got a lot of the Embryo lads, Rob and Rich and Dave and me here on standby. The guys out here, so what they've done, they've shot a net round the lake, catch net in, and then they've basically barried between the margin and the main body of the lake. And then for 3 or 4 runs, as you can hear now coming through, the lads are there electro fishing on the outside of the main net, trying to get them all out the snags where they've been pushed. And then later, in the next hour or two, we'll pull the main net with whatever's in the main body of the lake in, really. The netting itself is quite a basic process, so you have like a float line along the top, which again you've seen the footage, laying all out on the surface. Underneath we've got a lead line, basically on the deck, and you know, you imagine you're essentially trawling really. So it's out in the pit, you lay it out as best you can, and then you just draw it into you gradually, and you know, the fish go in the back of the net as you build it up, or somewhere in between. As you get close, they're all forced into the back, and then you tighten up that lead line and essentially loop it all in underneath you, bring it in the top section as well, and fold it all in. So yeah, essentially sort of trawling really. Electro fishing, you know, it's widely used within, you know, on a job like this, you're not getting them without it, to be fair, you know, you wouldn't get anywhere near the volume. I think there's an element of debate, particularly with older, bigger fish, you know, because you're effectively stunning along the lateral line, so as they twist up and they go back up towards the probe, you know, if you're doing it to a 40-year-old 40-pounder, you know, that kind of violent spasming, you know, anecdotally, I wouldn't think that would be ideal. With this here, you've got a lot of quite small fish, you know, young fish, just shocks them for a few seconds. They pop up towards the probe and then you sweep them into the net, and you know, you're generally okay. But you know, I wouldn't be doing it if this was full of, you know, old, large fish. I think that would be a different proposition. We wouldn't sort of engage with it then, I think. Again, with the electro fishing, it's definitely something you need to know what you're doing, you know, the levels, everything else. I'm no expert. It's not something we just go out and have a crack at ourselves, you know. Clearly, not only for health and safety from your people's point of view, but particularly from the fish at the end of the day, you don't want to be giving them too much of a blast. It's very much an experience-based thing. We've used a few people in the past, again, other sort of experts, if you will, and you know, they're all the same. They're very practiced in the do's and don'ts. It's a specialist art, really. Process is that, you know, you lay that initial net out like what we've got here today in the main body, but you know, we're here in the middle of March, sun's up, those fish are naturally out in the reed margins anyway. If you look round this lake, there's an awful lot of overhangs, snags, bits and pieces like that. You know, it's all 4 or 5 foot undercut. You know, as soon as that boat's moving around in the lake, unless they're trapped in that main initial net, they're straight in under the bank. Now, for electro fishing, that's perfect, because you can get right in the back, they push further in, get stunned, and then you just jump in with a net, as you've seen the guys doing, and sort of catching them up, basically. If you haven't got that barrier with the electro fishing, from the experience we've found, you know, they just always push out in front of the electrode, and you're never going to track them down. As you can see over my shoulder here, literally getting some right now. They get them in the net, they put them in a container, wait for them to come round. They get, you know, a suitable amount, 5, 6 of them, take them back to the bank. We've got a catch pen over there where we'll pop them in. They'll recover in there, ready to sort of move on later on. With this whole process, it's basically quite similar to standard fishing, really. It's a bit of a diminishing return thing. You know, the first time you pull that net through, that is, in my experience anyway, that's pretty much what you're going to get. After that, you've got the ones you've got, and everything else knows to start looking at the base of that lead line for gaps and stuff like that. So I've found anyway, the more you do it, the less you get. So like with today, we're going to pull the net in here once we've finished electro fishing, move on over to the back lake over there, have a go, see what we get out of that one. That'll be the end of today, move all the fish, and then we're off tomorrow to take them to the destination.
We've done bits of work for Embryo in the past, and Matt asked me to come and have a look at this particular job. We were working at another fishery very close to here. It was a while ago now, and the water level was a lot further down, so he said it was going to be a bit of a headache, but obviously I turned up and you look down at the lake, and it was 2 foot lower than it is now. And I said, as long as we can get the kit down there, we can do a good job. You know, I mean, it was always going to be tricky. It's undulating bottoms and snags and bits and pieces like that. So that's why I insisted we had help to get all the kit down. A lot of kit, everything's heavy. We thought we were going to get mega stuck getting them out. We've got away with that. But yeah, getting involved in the job, it's once the kit's all down there, you can't just go down there with a little net and chase fish around. You need to net the whole thing. And we shot 200 metres of net around the big bit of water there. Have no idea if it was going to net well, because no one really knew what was in there. We always do that. We leave a channel around the outside, so chasing fish around the outside. We wanted to exhaust that as much as we could electro fishing. So I thought, well, every fish we catch electro fishing is going to be a bonus, because we just thought the net would come in like a bag of spanners, really. But it was all right. We caught, I can't remember how many fish we caught electro fishing, all different sizes. Caught a lot of pike in there as well. Safely caught those up, penned them up. And then the great surprise was when we dragged the net in. It's very deep, but we dragged the net in and caught another 40 fish to over 20 pounds, which was great. And then we spent the next day doing the same again, caught another few fish. I think we ended up with 100 odd fish. And then the small pond, same with the small pond, you know, we really didn't know what to expect. We'd obviously seen fish in there, but the same thing, shoot a net around. There's a couple of snags the guys told us about, so we sort of angled the net around like that. And again, repeated the process, get as many as you can electro fishing from around the outside, because you're never going to get them out with a net. You just have to sort of, and the combination of those two techniques is key, really. And you just get, the more experience you get doing that sort of, it's never easy. You're never going to catch them all. You know, you do some jobs and people expect you to catch every single fish, but it's not realistic. But I think we've done a good job. We've got a couple of 100 fish. Yeah, nice fish, so hopefully it all goes well.
The bulk of the fish will be going in a new lake that's opening this year. Not a runs water, but sort of quite a high stock lake for what we do anyway. So quite an interesting one there. Nearly all the fish will go in there. We'll probably pick 10 to 15 of the most sort of either interesting or bigger fish to go into another lake we've got, the Roughs Lake, which we'll sort of look into a bit later on, but that's sort of a lake that needs quite a bit of work, but we just want to sort of hand-pick sort of a selection of the most interesting really, just to sort of spice that venue up a little bit. Yeah, so just wrapping up, we just finished the day today at the ponds. Really pleased with how that's gone. What could have been a really challenging couple of days have worked out pretty well, to be honest. We've got a couple of hundred fish combined out of both lakes, which, to be honest, I really don't think we were planning on getting, particularly out of the second lake, where that was a tricky little operation on there. Really pleased with how the boys went about getting the fish. There was a lot of fish up around the margins when they first started work on it, and the whole plan of sort of penning them into that middle section worked out really well. That could have easily ended up with fish in under the trees, and their conductivity wasn't as good, so it was tricky to electro fish them. But to be honest, getting them all in the net in one big pool like that was perfect. Really happy with how the fish have done, and sort of excited to get them on the road and up to their new homes really.
Okay, there's a definite sense of urgency in the air.
Yeah.
Matt is gagging to get away from me. So can you just very quickly, before you run down, and explain exactly what is going on now?
Yeah, so the fish have all been penned up. Big move today, we've got a lot of fish, got to get them quite a long way. So this is the sort of bit where we don't want to hang about, like you say. As safely as we can really, the fish have been transferred from down at the lake all the way up this big slope into the tanks. We've got to get across that boggy field and onto the road. So as with anything else, it's livestock, so it's all a bit worrying, but obviously we're using professionals, we've got the oxygen, so they'll be all right, but it's always that, like you say, that air of urgency going on.
And a little bit of strength by the look of things.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be helping with this instead of sitting here chatting and...
Okay, well there you go, he is desperate. Go on, off you go,
All right then,
we'll film you.
Cheers. How's it going, mate? All right? Sorry. How many are we going? Sort of 5 or 6? 6 each bin. Yeah, well, we're putting sort of 6 in at a time. They're obviously darkened off overnight where they were when first, because of the coloured water with the extra rain, they're all a bit pale yesterday, but you can see the difference in what they look like. All a little bit lean, as you'd expect, because it's all very informal, this place. Not sort of been intensively fed or anything like that. How many we got, mate? 6? One more, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so one thing I know from experience having visited Simon Scott's fish farm is the white bucket tank process. To a lot of people, they looking on, it appears cruel, a bit brutal. Can you explain just why it is done in that way?
I think fundamentally, if you're, let's say we're doing this all in slings and sacks and like speed of the essence, you know, you want to get them up into the tank where the oxygen is as quick as possible. You don't want fins caught in things. All this stuff is fine for them. You know, there's a bit of water, they need more oxygen than they do in water at this stage. It's quite cold today in the water, so they're all fine. It's just that speed thing really. You notice there's no sort of scales, there's no damage. They're all looking in good nick. If we were literally banging each one in a sling, zipping it up, all the rest of it, it would take 3 times as long, and you know, you would have little pecks getting caught and all that sort of stuff. So it's just a quicker, more efficient way of doing it really. We're taking 6 at a time here, so it does look brutal, but they're fine, you know. We've done enough of it and seen enough of it.
And then they go into the tank up the top, and they're literally laid on top of each other in there, like sardines in a tin, aren't they? And that is to stop them thrashing around.
That's it, yeah. You want them tight as possible, really. The more space, the more movement, the more damage up on the tank. You know, the big one is the dorsal, the top spike on that going through other fish and stuff like. If they're all packed in nice and tight, less chance of them moving up and, you know, doing damage to each other like that. So yeah.
And the fish are now at the top of the hill in the tank, ready to go.
Yeah, so half of the fish are up there now. So we've got all the smaller fish, the 100 smaller ones from the little lake yesterday. Half of these are going in now. Andrew's going to blast across the field as quick as he can, load up the separate tank in the lay-by, then we're going to come back for the rest. So we've got to do it in 2 trips, primarily just so we can get the best chance we can of not having to call out the farmer because we're going to get stuck. Yeah.
All fun and games?
Drama, yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the top of the hill and have a look.
Yeah, let's go. Cool.
Yeah, he's a 24, isn't he? He's lovely.
Yeah, so fish all on board, 100-mile journey to entertain now. Super relieved, to be honest. These are not standard operations here, you know, like this isn't a fish farm, it's all very informal. So to get what we've got out of here, I'd have been happy with half. So we're really, really pleased with how it's gone. You know, the terrain, the whole netting on the lakes was never going to be straightforward. So yeah, we're all buzzing really, and then we've just got to get them up and get them in safely in their new home.
I've been looking forward to seeing this venue for quite a long time. My mate Jack Reed, he fished down here, it must have been 2 or 3 years ago now. When Dan first got the lake, he was allowed to come down here and test fish it. And I remember quite vividly all of his stories. He had an absolute adventure down here. He loved it, and I know that that chapter of his angling is right up there with the very most enjoyable that he's had. And it is no wonder, because now that I'm here, you can see why. The place is absolutely beautiful. And one thing I've always said is, if a lake can look good at the end of the spring, my God, will it look good in the summer. You know, this place is going to be beautiful. It is at the moment, and I cannot wait to come back down here later on in the year. But for now, lovely to be here. Can't wait to let the fish go and begin their new chapter in their new home.
Yeah, it's a nice looking lake. I love the island. Decent willows on the island. Looks really nice actually. I know Matt says it's very shallow and stuff, but it presents its own problems if it's really silted up over the years. But obviously they've got the guys to be able to get in there and sort it out. And yeah, I mean trees. It's the same old thing really. If you've got a shallow lake like this, you just got to allow that in your fishery management program. You know, if you're going to open it up to anglers, you want everything to be sorted before then. So yeah, if it needs more trees taken out or chalk, all the basics really. But it's about doing them properly, doing them thoroughly.
Lovely colour, aren't they? Lovely colour. Are these hand chosen, especially?
They are, yes. All hand picked.
Caught some of them twice.
Yeah. No, we just went through to get there basically to find something that's in keeping with here. So these aren't all the same year class, so although some of these ones here very small, like this one here for example, you know, this is 2 or 3 years younger than some of the others. They've all been sort of reasonably underfed, so a little bit like racing snakes, but in here I think they do well, so they're in keeping with the... Beautiful colour. Yeah, they're cool, aren't they? Really nice. Yeah, cool. Yeah, he's good. Right, yeah. Yeah, we first got the roughs in, I think it was 2015, so been here a little while now. It's probably, although it's an absolutely amazing lake and you only need to sort of look round, it is, personally I think it's the best looking lake we've got, to be honest, but it comes with a set of challenges as well, so it's quite different to a lot of the other embryo lakes. Most of the embryo lakes are, on the whole, sort of new gravel pits, so or mature gravel pits, sort of been worked and things like that. So they're, compared to this site, they're very easy to manage, and the bits and pieces you can do with them are a lot more straightforward. Because the roughs here was dug for peat essentially, it's quite a different sort of vibe. It's very shallow, which causes its own set of problems. Fundamentally, it's 1.5 foot deep out there, you know, like the deepest part of the lake in a sort of dry period in the summer is, I don't know, 4 feet, and most of it is sub 2 feet. So it's challenging, you know. It's got some cool fish in there, some cool originals, but we get big problems with weed, as you can imagine. It's very difficult to sort weed out when it's so shallow, sort of mechanically and stuff, and like that. Taking it out causes its own issues in the silt, stirring everything up. The big sort of oxygen cycle is the biggest challenge on this lake. You know, algae, weed, whatever else, adding to that sort of cycle where for big parts of the year the oxygen is very low. So essentially we opened it, had a period of probably about a year's fishing on here, lost a couple of the originals, they're quite old fish, and then we've just decided to sort of shut it down. Some of the guys still come down here and look after the place for us, but going forward, we're now going to put a lot of sort of direct fishery management attention on this site, because it really is a very special place, and we want to focus on making it as good as it can be, really.
Okay, so over our shoulder here, we have a pen, and in that pen is 25, roughly.
Yeah, about 26, I think.
Carefully chosen, wonderful carp. What is it about those fish that you know makes them eligible to go into this venue? Where are they from? A little bit about them, and you know, why those of all those fish of today? Why those lot?
Every lake's different, really. So you know, and this one is quite different from a lot of our other lakes. You know, we can only really have low stock here because of some of the stuff we're all going to talk about. It lends itself to a certain type of fish. You know, if you're down here, there's a certain look of fish, you know, the fish that have gone in here before, you know, the sort of pre-existing stocks. So we're trying to get essentially one that fits the build, some nice scaly ones which match what, you know, the original fish that are already in here, some that we look for potential growth, you know, obviously same as anywhere really. So that, yeah, they're the kind of thing you'll see from the fish. There's a sort of broad selection in sizes, you know, quite a lot of small ones, and you've seen across the board what we took as a whole. What's in here is probably smaller than average of the whole stock. Reason for that really, they're different year classes, and again we were looking for that sort of right fit within that, so some of these smaller year classes had a better fit than maybe some of the bigger ones we had in there for this lake. So it's always different from lake to lake, but that was the thing here, in keeping with what's here, this kind of aesthetic if you want.
Specially chosen carp for what will be, hopefully will be, a rather special venue in years to come.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, it's going to be a journey, this one. We've already done quite a lot of work. Rich has got a huge amount of work to do here, but that's the whole theme really, just trying to make something very special.
Okay, well I know from speaking to you lot today and yesterday that this is the bit you look forward to, so should we crack on and let them set them free into their new home?
Let's go and do it, yeah, absolutely.
The work's really varied. I mean, I love it. It's one of them things you either love it or you hate it. My favourite part of the job's probably when you go back to a fishery you've helped out. We do loads of different stuff. I mean, surveys are great, but when you go back somewhere where I do consultancy work and you try and get them to change how they're running it, because they normally only ring people like me when they've got a problem. So you try and implement changes, quite sensible, fairly sensible stuff. Really, it's not rocket science. But when you go back a year later and you've written them a report, and they've taken it on board, and that's getting more and more momentum nowadays, simply because a lot of people they've kept ploughing fish into not just carp lakes but match lakes, everything. They spend loads of the money on fish, and then eventually you get to a point where you think, well, hang on, we're not getting the returns or catch returns or whatever. So then they look at other methods. So then that's the most rewarding thing for me, is when you go back a year later, and we've obviously got regular clients who we work for every year. But when you go back a year later and they're really impressed because they've done stuff, and it's like a light bulb moment for a lot of these people, because they don't sort of see it. We see it every day. It's so varied, and so you're seeing things and you say, look, if you just do this for a whole year, the difference will be phenomenal. And when they do it, it's like they're really excited about it. So you go back the following year and the changes it can be little things like trees, planting, you know, reducing the stock sometimes, but you're sort of helping them manipulate the stocks a little bit. 9 times out of 10, it's actually easier. The fish aren't that, people put too many fish in quite often. So all the other stuff that you can help them do leads on to better catch rates, really. You know, a lot of places have just got too many fish, or they've got fish held up in areas where you're never going to catch them. A bit like at the carp site at Horseshoe, you know, just removing the snags, everyone moaned like hell. But the catch returns speak for themselves now. Stop putting fish in, done the snags, done a lot more planting, and they're getting caught more regularly. So yeah, it's one of them things, you either love it, you hate it, and we love it.
That looked like the big one, Matt. That was the big original.
Big one, is it?
How big do you reckon then?
23?
23. 21 3/4, I reckon.
Our main aim of this lake is to get it back to its former glory. It's one of these lakes that we all really sort of hold quite close to our hearts, really. Everyone who walks around here falls in love with it. It's one of those places you'd almost want to fish it if there weren't any fish in it. You know, it is that cool. So our whole approach really is to get it back to a point where it's a really interesting place to come and fish. And it is already with the fish that we've been putting in and the remaining originals. But then to complement that with some of the fish that we're going to be putting in later, there's some really sort of different fish.
It's nice fish,
and some that fit just right in with what's already in here. So it's going to be a process of just continuing to build on what's already here, but to accentuate the character of the place as well.
What's the ideal weight to stock a carp at, or is there not one?
Personally, I think it's more on sort of year class really, but like everyone's got a different opinion. I think the younger they are, the better they adapt to the environment you're putting them into. So certainly if you're stocking lots of fish, you'd want to go C3, 3 summers is a really good age. If they've been in a fish farm for 5, 6, 7 years, whatever it is, I think sometimes they find it a bit harder to adapt. C4s, C5s good, especially if you're, you know, for fisheries you want people clearly you want customers, you want people to come and fish the place. So, you know, it's a bit, obviously they get there a little bit quicker and they still do very well. But yeah, I think if you were doing it as a private individual and you had a bit of time, you didn't need sort of an instant return on it, sort of C3, C4s, maybe a smattering of C5s as well. It's quite different here to a lot of other lakes, you know, certainly in this part of the world, you know, the fact that it's based on sort of a peat bottom and everything else and all the stuff that goes with it, the depth, you know, it's an unusual place to fish. It is very shallow, which, you know, presents its own challenges, but also just makes it a sort of a different approach and something that's a little bit different to the norm around here, for example, which is all, you know, 40-foot brick pits in, you know, within sort of 5 to 10 miles of here.
This is like a mega one, Matt.
Yeah, he is cool.
Big, dark old common.
So do a swap, mate, yeah? The branch is off that game. Oh yeah, he's lovely, isn't he? Mate.
Lovely, isn't it, that?
Rich, get that, because this hasn't got the sidewall in. Top man. Top man.
It's got to be the biggest, darkest common of the bunch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's one of the original ones from Sandon. There's a handful in there. This is one of them. It's £18. Nice fish, very, very lean. Could do with some food, same as all the rest of them in here. Where they've come from. All good, yeah?
Yeah,
lovely. So this is very similar to the existing commons that are in this lake, very similar. So he's sort of, you know, it's probably a reasonable age fish that. Well, it looks very old, obviously very undernourished, but he does fit in well with what's already in here. The lake here it's got sort of a really quite specialist feel to it. You know, it has got its own set of unique challenges to the angler, but it's also got its sort of unique rewards that come with that. Just the peace and quiet alone is amazing, and you know, I fished here a couple of times over even January. It's got that feel to it, and it's unreal in the summer. You know, when the sun's coming up through the trees, you feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. Well, you are in the middle of nowhere, and everything that goes with it. Desperate for food.
The Burfield Common Head Common, this is called.
Yeah. Hey? I am.
That's a
Specialise
lovely
in
carp.
cricket bats.
God, there was some nice carp in that lake. What a little carp that is.
Yeah, so these clearly are younger fish from a different sort of year class, so that's what we're aiming to do with this stocking really, because it's this lake here. We're putting all these sort of management practices in really to try and improve water quality and just the general environment for the fish. We're trying to put different sort of age groups through that. We don't want to put loads of 20 pounders in because it's just not a very suitable environment, and by hopefully improving the water quality full stop, we had to add more fish, but for now we just wanted to put a few small ones in as well. In amongst the sort of 9-10 bigger fish, we put a selection of these really cool little ones and just see how they go really.
Mate, it's about as good as small carp get, that. Yeah, go on, let him go.
It's nice to think he spent a year in my garage. The original fish that we've got in the lake, a lot of them are, we have a fair head of commons in here, sort of nice old dark, old fish. All the fish, the original fish are old fish in here, a good age. There's a couple of really nice long mahogany fish, and then quite a few scaly ones as well. Just a nice sort of balanced mix really, but again, all sort of with a certain look to them. We complemented that with, again, some nice scalier fish, but also some sort of some of Simon's Harrow style fish as well. So that kind of makes the stock up. So the existing stock as is now is, quite a nice sort of broad mixture of fish. As we talked about before, we have lost a few of those original fish that were here when we first took it on, and part of today is really bringing the lake back to where we want it to be, because it really is a very special place and we feel it needs sort of special fish really. It doesn't kind of fit the mould of some of the other lakes. When you've got a lovely sort of gravel pit, you can pretty much put anything in, it'll do really well. Here you have to sort of manage every step of the process, and we're very hands-on with this site. Over the coming months, Richard is going to be doing wind lanes, doing chalking, various sort of exercise to really try and improve the water quality in the lake, because although it's an amazing site here, it's the shallowness and all the stuff that goes with it, the weed, the algae blooms, everything else that causes us the issues.
Mate, that is a seriously cool carp. Look at his head on him, look. That's an original, I assume, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, what's the old saying? Future's bright.
Yeah, all starts here, doesn't it? Lovely.
So 26 carp. Which is your favourite one?
I don't know. I like some of those little ones. I think they'll be interesting to see how they get on, really. Sort of how they adapt to it all. Yeah, I reckon one of those little scaly ones.
Hard to pick the best one
Yeah,
of the
it is,
bunch.
yeah, very different batch, aren't they? Bit of everything really this time.
The head on him's incredible. Look at that.
The kind of people that are going to enjoy this the most, I think, it's not somewhere you're going to come down and have 10 in an afternoon, clearly, and as it stands at the moment, you might not be catching 40 pounders, but we're dead set to make it what it can be, to bring it back to its heyday. It's done fish to 35 pounds in the time that we've had it, and it won't be long until that's sort of repeated again. But we want to do that with keeping the character of the place as well. You can't put 100 fish in here, you just can't do it. It won't support that level of biomass, but you can have 30, 40 really special fish in time, because it's a gradual build, that makes it just a super cool place to come and spend some time, really. You have to work for it here, but it's one of those places that really will reward you, not just in the fishing, but in the whole experience of being in such a special place. And it's somewhere we're really proud of, to be honest.